I see a bunch of you guys joining now, so maybe I'll start yapping my mouth over here. Just in the middle of a boiler build. This one is 3 total zones. 2 of them are for baseboard and 1 is for in-floor, so I'll kind of go over some of the components when I'm back over at the board. Just getting some of these ceiling plate pipe holders sort of mocked up here. My box of goodies. These are just ceiling plates, threaded rod, some nuts, and then I got my variety of split ring clamps there. And let me see, what do I need? 1 inch, I think. All right, so I think I just need 1 for now. Get this thing mocked up. I lost my marker already. Usually I have about 10 markers around. In fact, I'm just going to throw a couple on the floor because no matter what I do, they just disappear on me. So if you're not familiar with ProPress, you need to mark all of your fittings or all of your pipe where the fitting's going, so you know the depth is in the correct spot, so when you do go to press, it doesn't slip out on you and you don't realize it. Some inspectors actually will look for that, which is kind of funny, because even if you forgot to do it, you can just run around putting markers all over it, and technically they can't tell the depth of it, but obviously that's not the right thing to do. All right, so what I like to do too is I'm not just slamming these on the board willy-nilly, but I'm actually measuring out all my ceiling plates so it's obviously even. There's no perfect way to do this. I just, sometimes you gotta eyeball it, but I try to take as many measurements as I can, so I know what I do. Sometimes I'll hook it on the end of the board like that, make sure everything's in a good spot, get a measurement at the top of the center of the pipe. So it's 29.5, and then it's going to move around a bit because we're not pressed yet. All the fittings are not pressed, but some of these threaded rod, even, you can move them around a bit. So if you have to bend one a little bit later to adjust it and it's in its final position, not a big deal. So 29.5. What I want to do is sneak this guy forward a little bit, and the other thing I want to do is measure where I am, where my clamp is, so it all looks nice. So it's about 2 1/4. And let's see, 2 1/4 and a little. I like it measuring that way. 2 1/4 and a little. All right, so just snug that down temporarily. Let's put this where we want it to be, 29.5, which is pretty much already on. And then what I'm going to do is also measure sideways across the board. So we got 41 1/8. And we're going to go with 41. Yeah, see, we're off there. So 41, way off. And 1/8. And then I just like to eyeball it, because sometimes, even though you measure it, something went sideways and it's looking good. Something does look a little funky there. Looks like it's kind of. So what is going on with that? Maybe it's just because the middle pipe. Yeah, that's all it was. Okay, so that's in a good spot. I'm just gonna mark my holes. I'm just reading some of the comments there. Prosperity 635. Yeah, man. Lots to learn, especially if you're doing HVAC, whether it's, if you're getting into hydronics, it's a whole bunch more to learn as well there. So, but hit me up. Contact info's in the description and on my channel. If you got questions or need help, reach out. Let's see. The boilers are my thing, so I don't screw around with any other HVAC. I mean, unless it's for my own home, but I stick to boilers for my customers. I don't want to get involved with refrigerant and air handlers and all that stuff. I know enough to sort of trust myself doing it in my own house. All right, so that's there. I'm just gonna measure this back one more time before we plug it back down. Let me see. 2 1/4 and a little. I'm not building a rocket here. Let's see. This is really messing with me. You know what? Probably going to want one more support there. All right, I'm going to snug this down. Uh-oh. Baby saw me working. All right, so let's see. Got that set up. Now I'm just going to run. Now this part right here is the 2 baseboard zones, single variable speed pump that's going to be pushing through both these zone valves back into these returns, and then we're going to come across here and feed a mixing valve into another variable speed circ that's going to be for the radiant zone. So the reason we have that mixing valve is because this is going to be a high temp zones here, pushing like 180 degrees max, whereas this radiant only wants a max of about 125. So we're going to use that mixing valve to knock down those temps, keep them at whatever we set that to, like I said, around 125. So it gets a little, not tricky, but a mixing valve has 3 ports. There's a hot, a cold, and basically the output, which is the mixed temperature. So the way you use a mixing valve is by feeding in the hot from the boiler and using the mixed side to feed the zone. But you're going to take some of that water coming back from the zone, send it back to the boiler, but you're also going to put some of it back into the cold side of the mixing valve so that it can regulate the temperature on its own. So it'll just take in whatever hot it needs, but it will basically just be circulating whatever it needs to maintain that 125 degrees you have it set to, and it'll just keep injecting the hot or the cold to vary that, to keep that, to maintain that temperature. But it gets a little confusing for people to sometimes understand because, you know, you're not putting more water into the system. It's still the same amount of water. It's just whether it goes around the loop one more time or goes back to the boiler. I mean, it's all happening, you know, instantaneously. It's not like some is going, but yeah, it's a little screwy if you're not familiar with it, but it works, and it works really well. So everything on here is actually oversized because the customer did not know what their piping was 3/4 or 1 inch. So we did everything in 1 inch, which is overkill, but anytime you could step up the piping, you pretty much can't go too big with anything. It just takes the strain off the pump, it lowers the head loss. Now we're only doing it in the main piping here, but the bigger the better. So they'll probably just have to step down. I think they said like some of their feeds are 3/4 and some are 1 inch. So I said just step it down as you need. You know, if you got to step down to 3/4, just put an adapter. So where was I? I'm just debating on whether I need to put another support there. All right, I'm just going to mock up what the rest is going to look like. So this is going to feed into the hot. That's going to be a pretty, oh, maybe I could, see, I have this all designed out in my head because I've done this so many times, but sometimes you just see it and you kind of go, oh man, I wonder if this would work a little better or look a little better. It'll all function the same, but just debating if I should maybe spin one of these pumps sideways, but I also don't want to kill the look of this whole thing. So, and when I say spin it sideways, you could adjust these housings so that it's not, I'm sure some of you are familiar with that if you've done your own system or have one. But what I'm thinking about doing is, I don't know if it's really going to save me anything. Maybe like that, and feed this. This could come down. No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Back to the original plan. Okay, so this is going down here. think I did that originally too because I need the space for these controllers over up there. So I don't want to start getting funky. So the goal is come out of there, into here, into the zone, return, come back. Return has to go, some of it has to go back to that return. Some of it has to come back up, which I think I was going to do something like so to save a fitting. And we'll need to come up and over, so we'll get 2 elbows there. I like it. Okay. I'll stop talking and I'll just start getting going here. So we're gonna mock up how far over we want this. Probably give that about, I usually go with about 8 inches, so yeah, that's fine. So if we do that, let's call it yeah, 8's perfect. So 8 inches and about now if we go 8 off there, it's going to leave us with 33 inches. So that means we need to go 33. 33 to here. And this is where you get some eyeballing in and then mocking it up. So 20, I'm going to go with, let's call it 21 short. We could shave some off again if we need to. See, I'm already looking for my marker again. You know, oh, there it is. Check this one more time. Why not use the same spacing? Same spacing as what? If you're referring to these other ones, what's going on here, and maybe you're not. Oh, it's 1 and 2. Sorry, I didn't see that. Well, because we got little skinny zone valves and just these ball valves here. So these I think are only like, yeah, they're only about 5 inches apart. So, which is perfect spacing here once you, for maintaining and being able to open these valves here. But you want the similar look as far as spacing between components to get your hand in. But since we're dealing with like a skinny zone valve versus this wider pump, even like the spacing looks about the same here, you know, as far as sticking your hand in, because I'll probably put that down a little further. It just ends up being about 8 inches. So oh, yellow handle, yellow handle. Oh, between these ones? And if so, because then it'll be too big. And then it'll look like these are really spaced apart. And to answer John, yeah, Rochester area and too many to count. Too many boiler systems to count. I've been doing these pre-built units for probably like 5 years, and just like tons and tons of designs. Because even when I'm not building these, like half of my time is also just doing designs, believe it or not, for people who want to build their own systems. I'll just give them, you know, I'll do a full design, completely customized, work with them, full parts list, everything corresponds to the plan. It's will save you. And I always tell people, like, I could build you one. but I'm a huge fan of saving people money too, because that's what I do with everything. That's how I have everything I have, is by doing it myself and by finding deals. So if I can help someone out, we all win. So yeah, I mean, you're going to pay for me to do this labor and markup and all that, of course. That's just the name of the game, so I could pay my bills. But, you know, if you want to do a design, you pay just for my design fee, and, you know, I support you along the way, and you will save thousands. But even going with these pre-built units, I mean, all my customers will probably tell you, I mean, I have stories, endless reviews and stories of people saving tons and tons and tons of money. And even if you found someone that could maybe do it for a similar price installed, I don't think I've ran into one yet where they were going to get what I was going to deliver. So, not to say anyone couldn't do this. It's not rocket science. It's just some people just rush, and it's all about the money. And I don't know. I mean, sometimes I'm a little sick of doing boilers, but it's kind of my therapy. I just come out here and then try and enjoy it, and it's work, but you'll never catch me sitting on the couch, no matter what. Let's see, yeah, Navion. It's a Navion, not tankless, yes, but just to correct the term, tankless usually refers more to, I mean, it doesn't have a tank, so you could call it a tankless, but these are specifically boilers. Tankless usually refers to water heaters. Both of them heat water, but boilers are specifically designed for, sorry, I'm just drilling this pipe here, but tankless water heaters are specifically designed for open systems, for one. They're not closed loop. They're specifically meant for raising temperatures typically higher. That's sometimes part of it, is you're going to get colder groundwater constantly being raised at a much higher delta T. These boilers work on a 20-degree or up to, I mean, they're not set in stone, but anywhere from like 20 to 40-degree delta. So they're meant for, the heat exchangers are designed differently. You'll see people try to use, and I'm sorry if I'm going on a tangent if you're already aware of this, but I like to talk. So you'll see a lot of people using tankless water heaters for heating applications. It's not correct, and it's just not designed to do it. Will it last? I mean, maybe, but you know, a manufacturer just never designed it to do that. So even if someone's like, oh, my brother did it and it works great, you know, I follow everything by the manual because I have to. I mean, it's the only way to back up your work and if something goes wrong. All right, let's see. So now you can see it is a long run. Now I could mount those controllers between there. I'm going to do them above because anytime you can avoid it, you don't want your electronics below the water level. It's fine. I've seen water dumped all over these things. I mean, it obviously depends on the situation. If it's powered up and you got high voltage going through it to the pumps and water spills all over it, it's not ideal. So, and it happens. It's not like the pipe itself might leak, but I've seen people go to change a pump out and all of a sudden water dumps a lot, and it just happens. So if you could avoid it, but sometimes you just can't avoid it. So cover it with a towel if you can. Let's see, so I'm gonna, I think it's gonna look pretty groovy when it's done. So this will be going like this. Obviously need to support that. Pump here. Get a return. I like it. Now the only question is, do I bring this down all the way? I don't love that. I can't put it at the same height as that other circulator, but what are you making in the comments? I'm making a boiler system, a heating hydronic boiler system. So let's see. I think we're going to just give that. See if we got a spare. Sometimes I like using my, all this junk on these pipes. Usually what I do is get my torch out, heat that nasty glue up, get a little lacquer thinner. Just don't put the two together at once. Can't say I haven't done that before. Oh, it's a really sticky one. So I'm a fan of using, sometimes I used to be so sick of taking, you get a lot of this copper pipe and it's just beat up, but most of the time I've been getting really, really good clean copper, but they just put these stickers all over the whole damn thing. And I guess if you're just running it in a wall, you don't really care, but when you're trying to make something look pretty. All right, let's see. Let's see if this is the right size. And I gotta say, usually I'm moving a lot quicker, but I'm trying to take it easy tonight and just enjoy it. Yeah, it's too long. I don't like that. But we're gonna use this piece. We're gonna go like so. Oh, I gotta make a video about this thing. Going on another tangent here, but this is really cool. Thermal imager. Got that for like, I don't know, 200 something bucks. I went down a rabbit hole on YouTube and watched 8,000 videos of what's the best. I'm all about not spending money if you don't have to. So I just tried to find the most bang for your buck thermal imager. I don't need all these bells and whistles. I just need it to show me the temperatures. And, I don't need to. I mean, this one will actually record video and take pictures too, but it was only like 200 something bucks. And what I used it for, I mean, it's great for radiant. If you shine it right now, it probably won't, but if you get the heat going in this slab, you'll see all the tubes in the floor, which is really cool, especially if you're trying to drill a hole in it and you don't want to drill into a loop, or if you got to do a repair or something, it's easy to see. You'd literally see the heat disperse. There are spots where I was standing on the floor, moved my foot, and you could see where my foot was because it's soaked into the concrete. So really cool. So I'll do a whole video on that. But I used it for, if you see up here, I got spray foam, the whole house in the shop. And in my attic, I had, with spray foam, I mean, there's just little spots where it might look good and maybe there's just like, it's a little thin. So I just went around my attic looking for like little cold spots, and sure enough, like I found a bunch of tiny little leak points. But I mean, the point of the spray foam is to keep it all airtight. So I was able to just get a couple extra cans and just, fill all those little last bits and pieces to get it super airtight. And then, so definitely a cool, I think now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, did I already make a video on it? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I like that. That's the ideal distance there. So I gotta start getting some support on here. I'm gonna need 7 1/4 threaded rod, at least 1, 2, 1, 2, let me think. What am I going to do with that? So one thing I don't like is not putting, I know what I'll do. One thing I really need to just invent, and I don't, if I wasn't so busy, I want to make a threaded rod adapter for these isolation valves. The only thing I can find is brackets that bolt directly to them, and then they just bolt directly to the board, but I want to be able to have height adjustability. So if there's just like a universal bracket with a hole in the bottom, and then I can just put threaded rod and it'd be perfect. So I guess in my spare time, I'll design that thing. So let's see, I'll do that. And I just remembered too, I need to finish a design by tomorrow morning. And maybe I'll call it quits here. I've been working out here for a little bit. So I might call it quits and then be back out here tomorrow night. The goal with this one is I got a endless amount of boilers lined up. So I'll get this one out as soon as possible. I'm going out of town this weekend. But I will be doing designs on the plane and likely partly while I'm on my semi-vacation. It's not really vacation, but yeah, I guess stay tuned. Check out the videos if you guys haven't on the channel. I actually recently just added I'm in the process of putting together like some courses and some calculators that I use for doing stuff. So I have some links on my description and on the main channel, actually yeah, on the main channel page, to where you could purchase some of the tools. And there's not too many up there right now. My goal is to just keep loading them up and then try and put some courses together and put whole package of you know, all the calculation tools I use and sort of some training and stuff. But yeah, so check that stuff out. And yeah, like I said, stay tuned. If you're watching and you haven't joined as a member, highly appreciate everyone that has. You know, it's really cool to be able to have you guys support. And yeah, I mean, go ahead, join if you haven't, and then continue to make members only stuff. I've just started sort of doing that, giving you guys like inside views at stuff, and I'll bring more content like that specifically for members only. So like I said, stay tuned, and I guess I'll see you guys soon.